Peace and love, family. It's your girl, Sixthegoddis. And keep in mind, I'm a goddess and I'm sensitive about my shit. Hope y'all are doing well. I am doing amazing. I think that this video and all this stuff that's going on is a great intro with me getting back into actually creating some content. Don't mind that. Don't even mind that. Y'all worry about the wrong thing. So we are going to get into the curious case of Dr. Umar. At this point, we have to talk about it. There's no way around it. And this is going to open up a bigger discussion I think need to be had. Discussions about people who can speak on children in our community, people who can have access to children, young girls who have fathers like Umar and what that means and how it affects them, how it affects our community. So we are going to break it all down. Now, before we break it all down, can we break down today's look? Now, ladies, I have a women's only Patreon in which I get ready for all of my content live. I show you every single step, tip, and trick I have. I do not gatekeep. I have a great community of women from all walks of life, all creeds, places in the world. And it is a great supportive community of women who are solution-oriented and want to win and are winning, okay? We have movie nights. We have a Discord. It's like a group chat. We do get-togethers. We have once a month money meetings to discuss entrepreneurship amongst women, financial stability amongst women. It's just a great community to share information, give information, have support in this journey to not be an angel. So if you are tired of being mean and ugly, come to death row, baby. I would love to have you. I also have a second separate Patreon called 6 at 6, where I do my once a week live show called 6 at 6 every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And I discuss all different subjects, different current events, reactions, different topics. And it's just a great once a week way to tap in with me live, connect, and come see the gang. So the link will be in the description for both of my Patreons, and I cannot wait to tap in with y'all. So let's get into it. Now, I'm going to be breaking a few things down here. Now, this is my rule. And if you've been following me, you already know I say this all the time. When it comes to anything in your life, in my opinion, majority of it is your business. The one place I get real strict, it gets real strict around here. The one place where I tell y'all all the time, we will drag you for filth. We don't have no understanding. There is no grace. There is nothing. Is when it comes to parenting. Okay. Now with Umar, okay, when his children kept silent, when he kept silent, we knew he had multiple children by multiple women. We hadn't heard anything from them. So we was like, you know what? We don't know the situation. Let's just keep moving. What people don't understand is that when you are gone from this world, it's not going to matter what your mama had to say about you. It's not going to matter what your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers. What tells you the most about someone is how their children feel about them, period. Okay, so I don't really care what anyone else says. What do your children say about you? That's why I think people are weird when you date people who are estranged from their children. You date men who disrespect their daughters or don't talk to their daughters. You get what I'm saying? Or date a woman who the grandma is the baby. You get what I'm saying? Someone's interaction with their children tells you 100% of everything you need to know. And in our community as a people, we need to start getting very strict on how people interact with children and judging them 100% and holding them accountable for those interactions, period. Parenthood is a bit too optional in our community for my liking. All right. So I'm prefacing that with this. Umar being single. Okay. I always felt what Umar was at the end of the day. He is a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. He's not wrong in majority of things that he says. I've raised a young Black man myself. And there has been things of Umar's teaching and information he shared that has helped me in raising my own son. So I don't want this conversation to take that part away from him. Okay, I think two things can be true at once. All right. I want to also have it be noted that when Umar, early in his career, he was not the way he is now. Umar started out very intelligent, very well spoken, and seemingly with good intention. There are things that I feel like happened along the way of how he ended up falling off how he is now. And, we'll discuss that as well. I apologize if y'all hear my dog. He acts up every time the camera turn on. He's like, oh, my mom's not paying me attention. Let me act a fool. So y'all please don't mind if you hear him rummaging around over there. Now the problem is different. Okay. Umar being single. Umar not building a school. Umar taking people money. Umar, we even could have let you slide with all your weird jump offs that be showing up to your events. You get what I'm saying? I was here in Atlanta a year or two ago, and I was at a Black Wall Street event in Lithonia, I believe it was. And there was me and my homegirl, we sitting there, we're looking at the vendors. Umar was getting ready to speak. We looking around. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there, looking at the stuff. All of a sudden, I get knocked in the shoulder by some shit. So I say, y'all know me. So I turned around. I said, who pushed me like that? You get what I'm saying? All I seen was the essence of the side of her arm go by me when she knocked. I'm talking about, boy, she almost knocked me over. So I turned around like, who that was that hit me like that? I said, who that was? Child, when I looked behind me, all I saw was a defensive lineman with silly braids. Child, when I looked around, seen that big defensive lineman, I said, honey, I might have been in your. You know what I said? I said, who hit me? I turned around. I seen Big Shirley, Big Bertha, Big Broad Shoulder. I'm talking about, baby, she need to come try out for the Falcons. They need help anyway. I turned around, seen that big defensive end lineman. I said, oh, girl, maybe I was in your way. You know what I'm saying? My energy changed real quick. I was like, ooh, it went from who hit me to, ooh, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I should have got out your way when you was trying to come through. And this woman quite literally plowed her way to the stage and was like, basically like, so you go me last night and act like you don't know me and stop calling me? And I said, ooh, my God, today, I don't even have my pearl. I have my pearl. I said, ooh. I said, now, Umar, come on now. You can't live your life like this. Umar need to be y'all case study. And I have this discussion all the time, and so many people give me pushback on it. But Umar, y'all need to study Umar of why higher up society does not allow single men, especially single Black men, to infiltrate certain spaces and certain levels in society. Umar is a perfect example. Listen to me. Nothing speaks to the mental, spiritual, and financial health of a man more than his ability to, wait for it, happily and healthily sustain woman and child. There is no other measure of how healthy a man is than how he does that. Men like Umar, who are 50 years old, alone, always been alone, ain't never been married, never with their kids, have never had a woman and child truly depend on them. It literally means there's an issue there. There's arrested development there. There's mental health issues there. There's personality disorders there. There's something there. It is natural in a man to want to provide care for his woman and seeds. When a man cannot do that, there is an issue there, period. This is not debatable. And the whole entire world, except for Interville, knows that. That's why only in Interville can they sit around in the barbershop like, yeah, you got to be married to make it. I ain't married. I do well. I do. Honey, I don't care how well you do when married. You would have did better married. Okay. You would have had access to opportunities that you didn't even know existed. You have a glass ceiling. You don't even know what exists past that glass ceiling when men who have produced things in society look at you and say, who are you? And you a nigga by yourself, and has never had anyone depend on you or sustain them, once again, happily and healthy long term. Because we don't brag on the timing of things. We brag on the health of things. Okay. So Umar, honey, you already had a lot going on. Okay. You already had a lot going on. You playing with people's money. You playing with women's bodies, you playing around. And what's so interesting is, how can Dr. Umar be a psychologist yet be extremely mentally ill himself? A healthy-minded person who was in Dr. Umar's shoes should be melting down and being unseen right now. The mere pressure of knowing that you have taken that much money from that many people and have failed to produce what they paid for, a healthy-minded person, that would shut them down. It would make them explain, be accountable. But the way that Umar, not only does he not feel any remorse, not only does he not care that he has not produced, but he keeps continuing to ask for money and donations. That's the part I find weird. A healthy person at the very least would have stopped accepting more money. But this goes back into the further signs of an unhealthy male, the further signs of why higher up men in society, have you ever seen how well-off men treat and look at broke men? Have y'all ever seen it? Well-off men look at broke men as like air. They don't even exist. They don't invite them around. They don't care about what they have to say. They give them the most basic human respect to keep them out their face they can get. They don't respect them as a man. They don't invite them around their circles. They do not. Because they understand the hard work, consistency, and dedication it took for them to get where they're at. So when they see a man broke, especially an old man broke, they don't care what you have to say. Once again, as a woman, you want to see about how men move. You watch how men deal with each other. Another sign of an unhealthy man is a man well over the age of 35 who still cannot figure out how to keep himself financially stable, how to keep his bills paid, how to keep a clean house. Umar has been exposed multiple times for living in dirty, hoarder Section 8 apartments. That is a huge problem. That mess and disorder in his home speaks a lot to your mental. Your cleanliness level is directly connected to your level of higher consciousness, period. So when you have a man 50 years old and he doesn't know how to consistently make his own money, pay his own bills, produce on what he said he was going to do as a man, that's the mental health is they have an odd entitlement. They think they should make money easily. The concept, men like Umar will turn their nose up and suck their teeth at the idea of consistent, long-term hard work, even if it's manual hard work. Men like him will literally turn their nose up to the fellows that work jobs their whole life, and then they will turn around and ask everyone in their life for money, as opposed to getting their sass up and going and getting a job, living within their means, paying their bills. So those men who are older and still can't figure out how to get money, work consistently, is another red flag. So now we have Umar with several red flags. Inability to produce, do not keep your word, cannot keep a woman, cannot keep a child, cannot keep money on the table. Y'all, my dog is snoring so bad. Let me put him away. Give me 1 second. Okay, I had to move him out of the way. He was doing too much. So like I was saying, can't keep your word, can't produce. And the part I find most disturbing at this point is once his daughter spoke out. So recently, going back into what we said is that men with mental health issues like Umar, the most interesting part is in their mind, they're truly the victim. The fact that Umar can not only be doing what he's doing, it's been 15 years. It doesn't take 15 years to produce a school. The fact that it is very clear that he is the problem, he has failed. This is all his fault. The very fact that we all see that, and yet he still is on some, they trying to get me, they trying to bring me down, donate to FDMG. Yeah, Black Queens ever. The fact that he's still able to do that when the jig is up, baby, the jig been up, shows a lot. And we as a community need to stop being reactive to things and look at the root of things. We need to have more respect for the mental health in our community. Okay. Now, once Umar's daughter came out, exposing him about how, he's a deadbeat, how he doesn't speak to her, things like that, to me, the game changed. Now, when I saw, because now we have confirmation, now we have out of the mouth of babes, now we have the mouth of his own seed that he is not properly caring for her. Okay. Now, I'm going to slow cook this. I'm going to slow roll it. Yeah, we're going to slow roll it. Slow down. Let me cook on this one, okay? This is all going to all come together. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw Dr. Umar's daughter come forward was, baby girl, this is a trail you don't want to go down. I think that we as women need to have more respect for the fact that there are certain bloodlines, certain family names that are meant to be forgotten, that are meant to die out. We have way too many men now that have children carrying their names, carrying on, that their bloodline should have been gone a long time ago. All right. What women don't understand is when you get married, you change your last name. Life for a woman is about aligning herself with a healthy husband who they can build a family and structure and culture together. That's the goal of a woman. It is a man who is supposed to fight, give grace, and pull teeth for his family because his name doesn't change. Okay. If your family is falling apart, it's the men in your family's fault, period. If you broke, it's your daddy's fault. Seriously. And nothing, listen to me, I'm 35 years old. When I look from high school to now, all the girls I came up with, when I look at the difference between me and them, all the ones that have fallen off, broke, fat, a mess now, oh my God. You get what I'm saying? I have seen them. The number one difference is they was Captain Save a Nigga and I was not. My anti-aging, my fitness, my beauty secrets, are some of them physical? Yes. But most of them are spiritual. And nothing will break you down more than seeking the validation or saving from the men in your bloodline that simply are not meant to do that. They are meant for you to cut them off, be forgotten, do better, and move forward. And the quicker you divorce them, the quicker that you cut that cord from them, the quicker you forgive them for who they were and who they were not, and move forward, the better your life will be. Those are the women who prosper in life and look good. The women that hold on and fight and wish and chase their validation. Nothing breaks them down more than that. Do you hear me? When I saw Umar's daughter, go to the internet to seek his attention, to seek his validation, I said to myself, I said, well, this is the beginning of the end if I've ever seen it. And I thought to myself, she should have left this alone and focused on her life. And when she opened that portal of, I need your validation, please give me attention, please, 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 I knew. And to see this young girl now go from speaking about how she's educated, she's a virgin, she's not out here giving up her body, she's respecting herself, to see her go from that and looking healthy, speaking positively about her mother. And as soon as she opened that portal to seek Umar's attention and validation, she is now having an entire either manic episode, schizophrenic break, mental breakdown, something. It looks like schizophrenia. Once she opened that portal, this young woman, God bless her, is crashing out and deteriorating right in front of our eyes. And we're about to break down how all this went about. So first, let's look at a short snippet of when the daughter first came out and let us know that, who Umar really was and how he has neglected his seeds, okay? The glasses, are going on. You know what that means. When the glasses go on, I mean business. Okay, so I'm going to show you all what Umar's daughter said. I'm going to bring this up and let's listen to what she has to say here. Start this from the beginning.
My biological father is Dr. Umar. He has another daughter.
Wait a minute. Why do I feel like this is super low? Let me turn this up. I can really hear it. I know y'all can't hear it. Okay, let's try this one more time.
My biological father is Dr. Umar. He has another daughter. I tried to contact him about, getting to know my sister on my dad's side. I asked him if he knows her or if he has her number. He ignored me and never responded. I'm 22 years old now. My dad has never been to anything important, no graduation, no birthday parties, nothing. He has not been in my life. Again, I'm not making this video to bash him. I'm making this video to state facts, okay? You can't get on Instagram and get on social media and portray to be an activist and talk about how Black kings need to be with Black women, but you're not even in your Black woman's daughter's life. It doesn't make sense. You're being a hypocrite. And it's frustrating because I reached out to you. I reached out to you. I shouldn't have had to do that. I'm your daughter. But I'm smart enough and logical enough to know that you would never reach out to me because you don't have my phone number. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't try to reach out to me because for what? I don't want anything out of you. I want nothing but a conversation. Forget the relationship. I really don't care too much about that at this point. I just wanted a conversation out of you and you shut me down. You ignored me. You should never be too busy for your... My biological father is Dr. Umar.
Okay, so that gives you all kind of a glimpse into what, she was coming out and saying. So when I saw that, I said, oh, Lord. And I was very curious as to if and how Umar was going to respond. I was like, so is he going to say anything? Because this is major. You get what I'm saying? We play about a lot of things except parenthood, baby. We don't play them games. We will nail you to the cross about them children. That's how it goes. Now I'm a parent myself, a real parent. Honey, listen to me. There is nothing that my child can do, nothing the other parent can do that would ever keep me from my child. I've heard men say, when the mother is keeping the child from them, they'll say, I shouldn't have to pay to see my child. You say, well, why don't you go to court? Why don't you fight for your children? I shouldn't have to pay to see my child. It's not about you. No one cares about you once you have a child. No one gives a fuck how you feel. I can always tell a deadbeat parent when they put their own personal preference, ego, pride in front of what's best for the child. So a man will pay for $25K for each cheek. They'll pay for baby deletions, lemon pepper wings, hookah, Casamigos to get him in pants. But you won't pay a $350 filing fee to see custody of your children. Stop. And so I said, how Umar responds to his daughter is going to tell us a lot about whether or not what she's saying is true and about who he is. And do y'all know that Umar got up here and did the Deadbeat Parent Starter Kit response? I'm not going to play it because, to be honest, it's triggering. It's triggering to me. It's triggering to way too many Black women out here. I don't want to hear it. We don't need to hear it. We've all heard it. Let me say the number one way y'all know a terrible parent. You know a terrible parent when someone mentions the child's pain or trauma or issues, and the parent's first thing out their mouth is, well, your dad, well, your mama. And this is especially true in Umar's case because this girl is 25 years old. And when Umar got on there to respond to her, and the first thing out his mouth was, ask your mama what happened. First of all, I want to revert back to a video I did years ago. Y'all know I've been the baby mama saver for a long time. It is my life mission to stop women from having children. Stop having these kids, especially with just anybody. My God, we are in the age of information now. We're not in that era no more where Black women act like they had it all figured out and act like everything was okay. No, We have enough examples and enough information to say that is not it. We don't have the infrastructure, economic, spiritual power. No one should be doing that right now. Y'all poor as hell, broken men, broken bloodlines that should be dying out. And you're steady opening your legs and giving them children. It's very problematic in 2025. Okay. This girl is 25 years old. You don't even have to look at her mother, speak to her mother, anything like that. Yet, as a 25-year-old, your only job in being their parent really is being their friend. They're 25. They're responsible for themselves. Your only job is to guide them, have a friendship with them, have a respect for them, and have a respect for you. That is your job in parenting older children. Okay. This goes back to what I said years ago about how men do not have a direct connection to their children. 95% of men experience a connection to their children through the mother. He doesn't carry that child 9 months. He doesn't have one foot on each side of the room pushing a human life out of his womb. He doesn't experience that. Okay. Everything in life is symbolic, and God makes no mistake. There's a reason that the baby is complete gestation in the womb of the woman. Okay. There's a reason why the man has to insert life and then hands off. There's nothing else you can do from that point forward. It's all on her. So if you pay attention to that, so the man inserts the life and then it's all on the woman after that. The only reason any man knows whose child is his is if the woman says that. DNA tests are fairly new. Okay. Parenthood, the responsibility of being a father has always been through the woman. The woman can say, "This ain't your baby." Only the woman knows who baby that is. Before a DNA test, only the woman could say who was the father. There is no, men do not have zero direct connection to children. End of story. Which is why you see countless stories of when we were together, he was a great dad. When we broke up, now all of a sudden, he don't want to pay. He don't want to see him. A man's first priority is his dick, no matter who he is. Everything he does around him is to serve his dick. He sets up his life in service to his dick. For a woman, your number one purpose will be a man, your children. That can be the number one thing in your life. It is never number one for a man. His connection to that child is through you. That's why you could have men where he's not with the mother of his child, but then he's an excellent stepfather to another woman's children with another man. Why? Because he with her, he like her, his dick is being serviced by her. So in his mind, okay, I'll do for these kids, I'll care for these kids because this is the woman I like. This is the woman I'm with. This is the woman I have access to. Men care about their children as much as they care about the mother. That's the way it goes. In their mind, you're done with the mama, you're done with the baby. That's why even though this girl is over 25 years old, Dr. Umar still, when she's like, hey, why are you not there for me? Hey, how come I don't know my sister? Umar, those are your seeds, period. You are responsible for brokering that relationship between your two seeds from two different pieces of soil. Okay, period. If Umar would have came out and said, absolutely, it's all my fault. I didn't do enough. I wasn't there. I got to do better. I would have had way more respect for him. But the way Umar takes his manhood, every chance he gets, he rips it off his body, every opportunity he has. He rips his manhood off his body and he throws it at the altar and throws it at everyone else. Every chance he gets. We have yet to see him stand up with good posture, look us in the eye like a man and say, yes, it's my fault. Them are my seeds. It's my fault I'm not with the mother. It's my fault they don't have a relationship. It's my fault that my daughter is now at odds with her mom. Period. A man blames himself for everything, especially anything that happens in regard to his seed. Yo, daddy ain't teach you, Umar, how to be a man. I will. Let's skip down to business to defeat the Huns. Did they give me daughters when I asked for sons? I'll make a man out of you. Someone need to make a man. Umar, be a man. It's revolting. It's pathetic and disgusting, to be honest. We're tired of watching you castrate yourself online. We're tired of seeing you give up your authority and power. We're tired of seeing you give up your chance to be accountable and a man. We're exhausted. But that's what mentally ill men do. They make themselves the victim. Healthy men don't want to be the victim. Healthy men will never say, well, you stop talking to me first. Well, she stopped talking to me. Well, you will never in your life hear a healthy man say that. Never. Only mentally ill men say that. Healthy men damn near rather be dead before they'd have to admit that that power was taken from them. And if for any reason that power is taken from them, they take accountability immediately. Okay. So Umar's daughter comes out and says, hey, I don't know you. You've never been around. I don't know my sister. What's going on? And Umar's response is, and I quote him, the first thing out his mouth from a 25-year-old girl is, ask your mother what happened. Oh, Umar, come on, sweetie. So predictable. We thought we could do better than that. That's the best you had. And the problem is Umar targets fat, old, ugly bitches who validate his shit. I've been told y'all. Every time you see a nigga on some bitch ass shit, the reason why he does it is because there's always a slow puss ass hoe every single time that's telling him, yeah, daddy, get him, you're right, every time. And that can be any type of puss ass hoe. That can be his mama, his jump on, his girlfriend. It could be anybody. But at all times, there is an ancient bitch who is willing to sit and rub the shoulders of a man like Umar and say, they're hating on you, honey. They're hating on you, honey. Don't worry, I got your back. Every single time. So the daughter comes and says, you were never there for me. And Umar says, ask your mama what happened. Sir, she's 25. You ain't never got to see, speak, hear, smell her mom ever again. She's a grown woman. But since you can't face the shame and the things you do, since Umar's way of handling things to the man is la, 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 I can't hear it, to disappear, avoid, play the victim line, he exposed himself in that moment. So when he did that, I said to myself, my hope is that his daughter sees this immediately. My hope is that she very quickly sees that this man, honey, if you're looking for him to say, you know what, you're right. I should have been there for you more. You know, you're right. It is all my fault. You know what, you're right. As a man, I should have did better to plant my seeds and stay. When she saw that that was not his response, and his response was to play the victim, lie, blame the mama, I was really hoping that she would let that be her answer. I've been screaming this from the mountaintops for so long. I've been telling the girls that the good and bad news about a man is the same thing. The good news, the bad news is a man does whatever he wants to do. The good news is a man do whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do it, it simply gets done. If he don't do it, he just don't want to do it. It's that simple. So if you're looking to heal your daddy wound, young girl, oh my God, my daddy never paid me attention. Once you see that man say, well, your mama kept me away. Oh, well, I tried. Once you see that, I need you to very quickly, the quicker the better, accept that, cut that cord, and move forward. That's what I want you to do. The minute your father lets you know that he has zero intention of taking accountability for you, his seed, and how things turned out, and yet you still pursue his attention, his validation, a relationship, when you do not immediately cut him off and move on, psychosis ensues. Because it is quite literally impossible as a girl to yearn for your father and not get it. The key is to stop the yearning. The key is to mourn whatever episodes of The Cosby Show and The Brady Bunch you watched growing up with Mrs. Cleaver that showed you how a dad should be and how it should look, sweetie. That ain't the card you was dealt. It just wasn't. Get over it is the quickest way for you to heal from this. Mourn the idea of a father in your head and pay attention instead to the one you actually have. Make peace with that quickly. But you will quite literally enter a state of mental illness and psychosis if you continue to seek what doesn't exist. That's what schizophrenia is. Now you can't differentiate what's actually here, what you actually have, versus what's in your mind, what you think it should be, what you saw on TV. And so, unfortunately, she continued to seek that relationship that would never happen. And I don't want to show too much because I don't want to disparage this. This is the season of this young woman's life. I don't want to commemorate this unfavorable image that she's having on the internet right now. I don't want to show too much of this psychosis and this manic episode of some sort she's having, because my intuition says once she gets all this out, once she sees it didn't get her anywhere, once she sees there was no avail, once she sees that man don't care, once some time go by, once she matures a little more, once she's able to think a little clearer, once she makes a little more peace with this, my spirit, my intuition tells me she's going to be doing much better and she'll be able to even help other women. So I'm not going to show too much of the mental break she's currently having all over the internet, okay? It's also so interesting of how similar she is to her dad, even though he was never around. You can't run from it. That's why peace is the key. But I'm going to show you all a small snippet of what has been going on so you all can kind of, understand how bad this is and why Umar should immediately be canceled from any speaking engagements. He should be canceled immediately from speaking to any parents, children. But once again, we're going to get there. Let me pull this up. Give me 1 second. Now, let's get to the next part of this. Okay. So, actually, let me pull this up. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up. So while Umar is out here speaking about your children's mental health, while he's a whole psychologist, your seed is quite literally roaming the streets. So inevitably what happens when you continue to seek validation from your father who's never going to get it, who's never going to give it. I'm sorry. Let me explain to you about narcissistic men like Umar. Let me explain to you how they view you as their daughter, okay? Narcissistic men like Umar tend to already have a very tumultuous relationship with the feminine in general, okay? That's 9 times out of 10, a huge part of how the narcissism develops, okay? If you have a narcissistic father and also a father with addiction issues, listen to me. If y'all don't listen to nothing else your big sister told you, I'm about to save y'all a lot of pain. The inner child in you, the little girl in you is going to inevitably feel like, Daddy, come pick me up. I love you, Daddy. Okay, that's the inner little girl in you and how she views your father. But your father does not view you as daughter. Your father views you like a bitch on the street trying to get over on him. When you as a little girl are saying, Daddy, no matter how old you are, you're always a little girl when you're interacting with your dad, period. Okay, that inner child come out regardless. So what happens with fathers like Umar is when you, Daddy, they listen to me. They look at you like she can walk. Why she want me to pick her up? She's trying to get off on me. Look at her talking about some daddy asking me to come pick her up. Don't she got 2 feet? When you have a narcissistic, addicted father like Umar. Trust me. I understand. He doesn't look at you as his baby. I'm going to hold your hand and look you deep in the eye when I tell you this, baby. It's never happening. Why is it never happening? Because it can't. Addiction and narcissism are literal diseases. What you are asking of him, he is incapable of doing, baby. Doesn't matter how much you cry, doesn't matter how much you hurt, he can't. So now, Umar, your bitch ass got your own seed on the street, literally on the streets, for the streets. Homeless, broke, and peeing in bleach bottles. That's how you got your daughter. And his only response to all this is, yeah, she ain't gonna disrespect me. She could have went and stayed with my cousin Pookie if she want to. Yeah, she ain't want to. Now, another part of seeking the validation from your father and never getting it is it will inevitably cause peril between you and your mother, period. A child will always have some type of resentment for their parent when the parents did not love each other, especially the mom. Your child will always buck back on you and have some type of feeling for you, about you, if their father does not love you. Why? Because the father not loving you as the mother inevitably leads to them not loving the child. So now that energy has to go somewhere. So what happens when Umar's daughter is desperately seeking his attention and validation and she doesn't get it? Inevitably, now her and her mother have fallen out, of course. And then the mother feels like, well, how dare you hold me so accountable? How dare you be so mad at me and, hold me to the standard? I was the one that was here. And now the mother doesn't want to leave any room for disrespect or her questioning her or her asking her, why did you pick this man as my father? How did this happen? Now the mother feels like, how dare you question me? Are you kidding me? I was the one that was here. That was him that abandoned. That was him that neglected, not me. So inevitably, the child and the mother become at odds. That's the next step. That's what happens if you don't let it go. Mourn the idea of the father you thought you should have. And if we're being honest, sweetie, most Black women don't have that made for TV dad. Let's just keep it real. Majority don't. Your story ain't more sad than the next sister's, unfortunately. There's way too many sisters have this same exact story, baby. And there's also many sisters still going on to lead healthy lives and being happy. It is possible. So now, inevitably, the young girl, now the anger turns to her mother, and now she's left the house with her mother, okay? So now she is literally roaming the streets. And I'm going to show you all, what is going on with her now. This is a small snippet.
I don't need a fucking soul. Give a fuck about that. I gotta pee, y'all. Y'all want to see? Y'all like to see everything the fuck else?
That's enough of that. And so now your daughter is peeing in Clorox bottles on live. And all you have to say for yourself is, ask her mama. She ain't gonna disrespect me. And she could have went to stay with my cousin Pookie and Ray Ray Dan. Now, I'm gonna tell you all how a real parent would handle this, okay? And I have a son. I'm a mother myself. I'm a parent myself. My son ever grows up. If my son grows up and say my mom was a terrible mama, then that's what it is. My son ever grows up and say my mama wasn't shit, then that's what it is. Okay? It's my job, The relationship with my child is my job. Okay. You will never catch me dead being like, yeah, I don't deal with him. Yeah, because there is no because it's because you. And if me with a pussy can be a real nigga like that and take that accountability, that's what I mean by, unfortunately, Umar has handed over his manhood, because I can't even fathom a grown man not taking full accountability for your seed being quite literally for the streets. Peeing in bottles. This girl has been assaulted on the street. She is going through a mental break. And all she wants is for her dad to treat her like she's his daughter. That's all she wants. And Umar knows that. And instead of validating her, instead of picking her up and saying, my baby, that's all she wants. You could have said, my cousin Pookie Ray Ray, what you ain't going to do disrespect me. That's another part of mentally ill men, is they have no sense of cause and effect. No sense of cause and effect. They'll say, she didn't want to sleep in that bed with me. What they won't say is that you never shower before you go to bed. What they won't say is you won't change the sheets. What they say is you'll go to the gym, come home, and get straight in the bed. But they'll go tell everybody else, yeah, my woman don't want to sleep in the bed with me. They'll say, my woman don't want to kiss me. What they won't tell you is you have gingivitis. What they won't tell you is that you won't brush your teeth before you get in the bed. Does that make sense? Is that example hitting on how they're mentally ill? All they see is the victimhood in things. They do not see how they caused it. They don't pay any attention. Their brain doesn't work like that to say, oh, I did this, so inevitably this result happened. They don't move like that. The narcissist's goal is to have people feel bad for them. The end. So now when I seen Umar's daughter in the streets, peeing in bottles, there are several videos. It's all over the place. She's asking for Cash App donations. She's asking for donations. I will say, man, the apple don't fall. Whatever is mentally ill with Umar clearly is also wrong with his daughter. All right. She's on your seed is on here begging for change, peeing in the street, getting assaulted in the street. She's a young girl by herself. God help us when it comes to ex-trafficking and bad guys. God help us. And she's sleeping on the street. My child was having a mental break and was sleeping on the road. The very last thing I would think about is his father. Are you serious? If my child is sleeping on the street mentally ill, then so am I. I would never in my life lay my head in a warm bed knowing that my child is laying their head on concrete. I would pick my child up and carry him on my back if I had to house him. And if I couldn't do that, I'm laying on the street with you. I'm laying in the road with you, period. You're mine. You belong to me. I made you. That's a parent. A parent is loving and supporting that child, even when they don't do what you want them to do, even when you're mad. And that's a difference between healthy people and mentally ill people. Mentally ill people truly believe that them not getting their way, them being mad, suffices in neglecting their responsibilities. They truly, in their mind, believe that. Oh, I'm mad, so that child can go to bed hungry. Oh, I'm mad, so I ain't helping with your suitcase down the steps. That's how, in their mind, they're justified. In Umar's mind, I'm mad. So I don't have to worry that my daughter is homeless for the streets, running around, going to strangers for help. So now I'm seeing all this play out, and I'm like, okay, Umar, now that she has come forward, now that this is out, I was very curious to see what his secondary response would be. So, of course, the daughter is online. She is speaking about how she wants to unalive herself because, once again, the psychosis is kicking in because you are desiring something from someone who is literally incapable of doing it, okay? So inevitably, she is threatening to unalive herself and things like that. So, that broke, and that was a big deal of her, wanting to not be here anymore. And so when the news comes across Umar's desk, in my mind, I'm like, okay, at this point, he's going to give in. He's going to do what he's supposed to do. Remember, a narcissistic father, when you're crying out to them for help, they look at you as a woman that they're romantically involved with. I'm telling you what I know. Narcissistic fathers do not know how to interact with women unless it's intimate and sexual. So even though you're his daughter, he will treat you as a woman who is not giving him no pussy. Telling you what I know. That you're my baby thing never kicks in. They will treat you like a woman out to get them, and that's not fucking them. So when the little girl said, oh, she's going to unalive herself, I said, okay, I wonder, is Umar going to do the right thing? Or is he going to say, oh, now she's really amping it up to get my attention. I ain't going to give it. Yeah, she doing all that just to get my attention. I said, I wonder if he's going to treat her like a scorned ex-girlfriend lying, saying she's pregnant to keep you around or something like that. Or I wonder if he's going to finally validate her and be vulnerable and be worried and go pick up his baby. I wonder. This is what Umar had to say after finding out that his daughter may or may not have unalived herself. Y'all, hold on to your draws.
People have been texting me that she may have unalived herself. God forbid. I'm going to hope for the best that no such thing has happened. And I'm going to speak to Baby Smurf situation in a minute. I'm going to speak to that. But I just want to lay the groundwork by saying that all of this began while I was in Stockholm, Sweden. All of this began while I was in Stockholm, Sweden. All of this began while I was in Stockholm, Sweden. So I've been taking care of my mother for the past...
You is a puss ass nigga. You is a puss ass nigga. You is a puss ass nigga. Man, fuck this bitch ass nigga. Cancel this nigga. But you know why he won't be canceled? Because it's always a dumb pussy ass hoe who will sit here. It's always a fat, ugly, stupid bitch who will sit there and still deal with him. My brain cannot comprehend. It's always a fat, pudgy, transparent bitch willing to have him on their podcast, keep with this nigga. This nigga should not speak at all. And here y'all go, actually booking this bitch. This is why I hate humans, why I hate society, why I just stay by myself, because I can't deal with humans. This man don't know if his child is dead or alive, and instead of getting off the fucking internet and going finding out if your child is okay, instead of getting her mental health help, you go on live and say, yeah, I've heard my child may or may not be alive, God forbid. My heart goes out to them. You sound like a fucking coworker. Sound like her third grade teacher saying, I hope she's all right. Not her motherfucking father. Umar, you are a sorry, excuse of a man. Your days on this earth are numbered. Mark my words. You are about to die, and it's going to either be physically or spiritually. It's going to be one of the two. And you're already on your way. Now, Spirit is warning you, Umar. After this, Umar comes out and tells us all that he is completely broke. See, going broke is the warning sign. That's the warning sign God sends a man before he utterly destroys you. When you're not doing your job as a man to protect the woman and child, going broke is the first step. I want you to understand. Now, Umar, I know you're narcissistic. I know you're mentally ill. And I know you definitely don't want to learn from a woman. I already know that. But if you want to listen to this download I've gotten, the message I've gotten is you going broke is a sign, baby. Spirit is having you go broke financially. I hope you concede now. I hope you do right now and stand up and be a man now. Stop playing the victim. Stop having all these women coming out speaking about women come out, tell the truth about you, and you're like, oh, her coochie stink like a fucking child. Women coming out with full-blown accounts of your abuse, manipulation, and you're like, oh, I don't know, her coochie stink. Oh, shut up. Oh, please. You're fucking disgusting. You're pathetic. You're a sorry excuse of a man. Go get your motherfucking daughter, you bitch ass nigga. You big, wide back, bump, lip, bump, rusty beard bitch. Go get your child. Wash your beard. Now, when I saw Umar disregard his child's life, I said, oh, Lord, nothing good is coming from that. And sure enough, this is what happens next. Hold, please. And here we go.
Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Caribbean Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Africans in Europe and Asia. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Brazil and my South American Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to Panama and Costa Rica, my Central American Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my Canadian Africans. Peace and Pan-Africanism to my New York, my Carolina, my Texas, my Phoenix, my Philly, my Jersey, my Maryland, my Baltimore, my Georgia, my Kansas City. I need y'all to listen up. I got a very important announcement. I'm only going to keep you a few minutes. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars. This morning, I received a text message from one of my homies. He needed Dr. Umar to send him a couple dollars.
Y'all see how his eyes is darting around? Y'all see how he couldn't even look at the camera telling this lie? That nigga say, yeah, my homeboy called me today and asked me for a couple dollars. Yeah, my homeboy today asked me for a nigga like a robot combusting. Yeah, my homeboy asked me for $100. Man, shut your bitch ass up. Your homeboy ain't asked you for no money, nigga. You trying to get a hit. Stop. Well, we know a cocaine bear when we see one.
I logged into my account just to check my balance because I haven't done so since I left for South Africa back on July 10th, only to discover that I could not log into my account. So then I called the bank to find out what was going on. And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. The bank that I've been with since I was a teenager told me they had no record of my account. So then I called the bank, and the bank told me that my personal account.
Now, you just said you called the bank and you put your number in, and they said, so he said, I called the bank, I put my card number in, they couldn't find my account. There was no record of my account. So I called the bank. Let's make sure we're following the lies in the story. This is what cocaine addicts do. Okay. It took me a while to accept that Umar was for sure doing coke. It took me a minute to accept. Okay. As a child of someone of addiction, listen to me, boy, if I don't have no other expertise, I can tell you what an old cocaine addicted fool looked like. It looked like this. It looked like he'd been doing coke for the past 48 hours. And he is desperate for his next hit. Okay. I just know he musty. I smell the must through the screen. Okay. I know that nigga smell like sweat, regret, and poverty as we speak. I know that for a fact. Okay. Umar doing cocaine makes so much sense because that's how old niggas with coke habits are. They old, you'll see them get money or make money and they never have nothing to show for it. That's because functioning cocaine addicts like this, they don't buy a lot of coke at once. They literally, if they drive their truck and get paid Friday, whatever they made that week, they take all that money and they buy coke with it. That's how they are. They are extremely up and down with their money. All right. They get paid Thursday, Friday, get their money. They put it all up their nose all week and they broke by Monday. They go back and make the money. So now it's making sense on how this man has received millions of dollars and where the money went. That explains why for 14 years, everyone thought they were supporting Umar's school. Come to find out, everyone's been supporting Umar's cocaine habit. He must be getting the good stuff. Okay. A grown, healthy man would never, ever have to ask no one for no money, period. Okay. They have networks. They have other men. They have credit cards. They have loans. They have families. When a man got to get on here and ask the internet or ask women for money, it tell you everything you need to know. Men are not letting Umar borrow money, and Umar won't even ask them because he doesn't want the consequences going to come with him not keeping his word. Okay. Let's keep paying attention.
As well as the independent Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account have both been frozen. Both bank accounts have been frozen. And I was told that there is an investigation into my personal account as well as the school account. I asked them, was this due to suspicion of any fraud on my part? I was told that it was not due to suspicion of any fraud on my part, but I was told that it was due to suspicion of fraudulent activity. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account and the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access to my personal account and the FDMG account. I was told that someone has been trying to gain access into my personal.
We was told that you is a motherfucking lie. We was told that you lying through your teeth and we don't give a fuck. Umar, the only people gonna give you money is the fat, ugly bitches that they just so happy to have anyone call them a black queen, period. Okay? Okay, that's the other part of, these fathers with addiction issues. They find the oldest, ugliest, fattest women with the most best, what's it called? With the best, my God, what is it called? Benefits like SSI, pensions, retirement, honey. That's what they do. The older, fatter, uglier, the better for them, because those are the women that, once again, they capitalize on women's need for attention. That's how they control the women around them. They control the women around them, not with health and finances and, anything positive. They control them with validation and attention because it's all they have. It's free. And they get a sick, they enjoy that control. So when you have a man like Umar, an alleged psychologist that's educated, and you have to get on the internet and ask for PayPals, and you only have one bank account that's been shut down. I mean, how much more evidence do we need? Y'all are over here funding a literal cocaine bear. This is insane. At what point does it end? And you still have a long list of bookings? Only a black man get away with this. Even the white girl that was taking all them people money for that machine where she said the one machine would heal your whole body. She even had to be accountable at some point for all the money that only a black man could literally sit here and for over a decade steal people money in our face and still have black women sucking his dick. It's unbelievable. Not in jail, no consequence. But now there's an ancestral and spiritual consequence coming to Umar. Umar, your time is up. See, God is like the feds. You know how the feds will sit there and they will let you rack up a case, boy. They will know you moving that work and they'll sit back and watch you move it because they just want to see what you really made of, how dumb you really think I am. How much do you really think you're going to get away with? And Umar, that's what God's doing to you right now. God let you rock for over a decade, stealing, being dishonest. And you're trying to run from it so bad that now you're doing coke. Now you went from cocaine bear to just pure crackhead. And Umar, mark my words, you don't want to see what come after this. At the very least, you need to be quiet. At the very least. But I'm telling you right now, Umar, you keep antagonizing your daughter. You keep failing your seeds. You keep stealing from women, stealing and manipulating the feminine. You won't even be here to see what's next for you. For God to take every dollar away from you and you have access to zero, I want you to understand that's always God's way of telling a man, all right now, okay? I unfollowed, blocked Umar. I want no parts of him. Call until your seeds come before the world and said, our Father has given penance. He has righted his wrongs. He now supports and is accountable for his seeds. Until your children come forth and tell us that, until you can produce a cocaine-free drug test, which honestly, you can't even say that. Cocaine's the easiest thing to get out your damn system. But we don't need a test. The test is in your eyes. The test is in that dirty ass scruffy beard. Okay? Umar, until your seeds come forward and let us know that you are accountable and responsible for your seeds and you have made it right. Nobody want to hear nothing you got to say. And every one of y'all that listen to this man, give this man a single dollar view or validation. Y'all all ain't shit and y'all slow. And I hope y'all feet stay cold every night when you go to bed. This has gone too far. It's officially not funny no more. It's officially not cool no more. Umar, you ain't shit. You're going to burn in hell. I'm telling you what I know right now. You're going to burn in hell. Bad health is coming your way. I'm just telling you, it's inevitable. The signs are all there, okay? The signs are all there. As you see your daughter plummeting, you inevitably are also plummeting. You going broke, honey, that was the 1st of May. You going broke is the least of your worries if you know like I know, okay? Y'all, leave this man alone. Stop letting people who neglect their children be platformed. The end. Everything else can be objective. Everything else can be objective. Okay. Everything you want to fuck bitches, you want whatever. You want to, you can't control that. But we need to start having a higher standard when it comes to these children. People who abandon, neglect, abuse children, especially their own, should never be allowed to talk ever. So respectfully, Umar, shut your bitch ass up. Nobody want to hear shit you got to say, nigga. Go call your daughter, puss ass nigga. You a bitch. You're going to burn in hell. And we all regret the day that you were born. You're good for nothing. You honestly should just do us all a favor and get yourself out of here. Do us the favor. Do your daughter the favor so she can have peace. Let your soul pay her debt. Okay? To Umar's daughter, if you see this, baby girl, move on. You're not going to beat this. Let this go. Save yourself. This is not your fight. Okay? Go get healthy. Go talk to your mother. Forgive your mother. Okay? Y'all, please let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. This is sad. This is a mess. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all on the next one.